Good morning, financial algebra. We are going to be covering 7.4. So follow along, do the math on a separate piece of paper, check to see if you're getting the same answers as me. All right, so number one, Liz and Nick are buying a $725,000 home. They've been approved. Here is their interest rate for 3.25, 30-year mortgage, very common. They made a 20% down payment and will be closing on March 11th. What is their interest on the loan for 1 year? Well, first we have to find what their loan amount is because they put 20% down, so they didn't have to borrow 20%. So the first thing we're going to do is find what was their down payment. And so we're going to multiply the cost of the home by 0.20. You should get $145,000. And you can pause this video at any point and check it in your calculator. So I'm going to subtract that from the cost of the loan. And I got $580,000. So this is how much that they are going to borrow. And so let's calculate their interest. A yearly interest, they're going to pay 0.0325. And so we have to convert that to a decimal. And if you multiply that, you get $18,850 for the year. And that's on the loan amount. Part B, and I don't know if you want to circle that. So for part B, what's the daily interest? Well, I would take, the interest for the year and divide it by the number of days. So if I divide that by not 360, there are 365 days a year. And I got that their daily interest is $51.64. How much should they expect to pay in prepaid interest at closing? Okay, so notice that it closed on March 11th. Okay, they have to pay interest from March 11th to the last day of the month, which is March 31st. So when they purchase a home, if you purchase it anywhere in that month, you have to pay the prepaid interest till you get the next check in the mail for your next bill. So from March 11th to March 31st, that's 20 days worth of interest. So we already calculated the daily, so 20 days times what we got in part B. They're going to have to prepay $1,032.80 in prepaid interest. Now, closing means when you purchase a home, it has to go. There's a lot of paperwork that has to be done. It has to go through something called escrow. Closing means the sale is closed. It's final. You have the home. All right, so number 2, it's along the same topic. So how much will be charged in prepaid interest on a $500,000 loan? So I already know what the loan amount is. With an APR of 3.725 that was closed on August 26th. So first let's calculate our daily interest. So we're borrowing $500,000 times our interest rate. Remember, I had to make it a decimal, so that's why it's 0.03725. And then I'm going to divide it by the number of days in a year. So if you enter this in your calculator, I got $51.03 per day. Now we're talking about August. Now if you look at a calendar, August has 30 days. There are 30 days in August. So August has 30 days. So 30 minus 26, the day they purchased it, is 4. So 4 days times the 5103, they're only going to have to pay $204.12 in prepaid interest. All right, so let's move on now to talk about when you purchase a home. Right, homes are very, very expensive, especially right now. How to calculate our monthly payment. Now, the formula in this section changed so that it reflects an accurate percent. And so there is, for this section in 7.4, you're going to be using a changed formula to reflect, and it's in the section, but it's going to look like this. I'm going to have to write it sideways to fit. So our monthly payment, it's very similar to what we did in the last section and in Unit 3, is the principal times our rate divided by 1,200 times 1 plus our rate divided by 1,200 to the 12t. All over 1 plus r divided by 1,200 to the 12t minus 1. So the only difference from this and the prior section is that it's over 1,200 instead of just 12. So this is to reflect an accurate percentage. So we're going to go ahead and take care of that. So here we go. What is his monthly payment? So I'm going to calculate that down here. So his monthly payment is the amount he's borrowing times his rate, so 0.05125 divided by 1,200 times, and all this is in our calculator. You guys, we're going to enter all of this in a calculator. So you're not having to calculate anything. But this 20-year mortgage, let's figure out how many months that is. So 20 times 12, I got that is 240 months. So since I'm talking about my monthly payment, whoops, that should go here, 240. All over, because 12 times t, 12 times the number of years. So this is my 12t formula. On the bottom, I wish I could just insert this here. So 1 plus 0.05125 over 1,200 to 240, take away 1. So I'm going to tell you how I enter it. I think it's the easiest way to enter these. I do the bottom first. Okay, so I'm going to enter just how it is. So 1 plus 0.05125 divided by 1,200. Hit your exponent button to the 240, and then I hit enter, and then I hit minus 1. So I must have done something wrong because that's not what I got. Let me try that again. 1 plus 0.05125 divided by 1,200 to the 240. Oh, silly me. I'm entering all this just to realize because the formula changed, you don't have to make it a decimal. It's 5.125. That's why it's over the 100, because percents are out of 100, so that's why it's 1,200, because it was 12 times 100. My bad. So let's re-enter that. 1 plus 5.125 divided by 1,200 to the 240 minus 1, and I get 1.78102. I enter as many decimals as possible. Now, notice that on the top, this is identical to this part. It just doesn't have the minus 1. So I'm going to add the 1 back to it, and that's this part, so I don't have to re-enter it, times this. I'm going to put this in parentheses, 5.125 divided by 1,200, times our loan amount. And I get 4988.45. And then I'm just going to hit divided by and what we got on the bottom. So I got 1.78102. So I get a monthly payment of $2,890. And so that is what I'm going to write for Part A, $2,890. That's how much they would owe, or how much Lars would owe per month. Part B, how much interest is expected to be paid in the first month. So I'm going to write the formula here. Interest equals our principal times R over 1,200. Okay, so that's what I'm going to calculate. So 420, and this just works this is for the first month, right? The first month I took, that's my loan amount. times my rate, 5.125, divided by 1,200. I'm going to enter that in my calculator, and I got a monthly interest. This is just interest of $17.93.75. So, part C, how much would go to principal? Principal means the actual part of the loan. So part C, if my monthly payment is $2,890, I'm going to subtract the amount that is going towards interest, and that will tell me the amount that's going towards principal. So if I subtract those, I'm only paying down my loan by $1,000. And so that is part C. I'm going to flip this over. We're going to do a couple more like that. All right, so next one. And I'm actually going to skip number 4 because a lot of these are pretty repetitive. So number 5, Hillary was told that based on the price of her home, her closing costs would range $11,600 to $34,800. So in your book, it talks about closing costs are typically 2% to 6% of the total price. So they're saying that the lowest number, $11,600, must represent 2% of her sales price. You could set that up, or you could set the large number up, $34,800. It must be equal to 0.06%. So either one that you set up, to solve, you would divide by the decimal. And if you solve, I got that a sell price of $580,000. So there is one like that on your homework. I'm trying to do one like each of the ones on your homework. So number 6, we are going to fill this out. They've been approved for a $325,000 mortgage or loan, 15-year. That's the shorter your loan, the less you'll have to pay in total, an APR of 5.3. So using our mortgage and interest formulas, complete the 2-month amortization schedule. So first, beginning balance. Their beginning balance is $325. Okay, so let's calculate their monthly payment. So it's their loan times their rate over 1,200. So now you have 2 different formulas you could use. Both would give you the right answer. You could do 0.053 over 12 or 5.3 over 1,200. So 5.3 over 1,200. To that, let's calculate how many months. So 15 years times 12 months gives me a total of 180 months. So I'm going to put that here. All over this last part goes right here, 1 plus 5.3 over 1,200 to the 1/80th, but we're going to subtract 1. So like I told you, I always enter the bottom first. So parentheses 1 plus 5.3 divided by 1,200 to the 180. Then I have minus 1, and I have 1.21057. Now I'm going to add back the 1. So, and the reason I'm doing that is because that gives me this part here, which is right here. And then times this part, 5.3 divided by 1,200. Whoops, I need to put that in parentheses. 5.3 divided by 1,200 times the loan. And so for the top, I got $31.73.09. And I'm going to divide that by what I had in the bottom, 1.21057. So I get a monthly payment of $26.21.15. So there's my monthly payment, $26.21.15. Now for the first month, I'm going to calculate what is going to go towards her interest. So I'm going to label this as box A. So her beginning loan amount is $325 times our rate. And that is going to tell me what's going to go towards her interest. So $325 times 5.3 divided by 1,200. That's interest of $1435.42. So that's going to go here, $1435.42. Which means that for principal, you have to subtract these. So $26.21.15 minus what is going towards your interest gives us a principal of $11.85.73. So our ending balance is the beginning balance minus the principal equals ending. So beginning minus the principal equals your ending. So in yellow, $325 minus what went towards principal. You now owe the bank $323,814.27. So this number carries over for the second month. This is now your beginning loan amount. Now this looks like an amortization schedule. We kept this on our fridge as we were paying our home off. Your monthly payment is always the same when you have a fixed rate. So you make the same payment every single month. But your interest will change because now I owe the bank less money. So for part B, I now only owe the bank $323. Only, I shouldn't say only, that's a lot of money. Times our interest rate, and that's a high interest rate. So if you multiply this, my interest this month is only $14.30.18. So I'm now going to put that here, $14.30.18. So if I take my monthly payment and subtract what went to interest, this month $11.90.97 went towards my principal. So my ending balance is the beginning balance minus the $11.90, and that gives me an ending balance of $322,623.30. It's a lot of work, I know. All right, so we are going to do another one. We're going to do two more, and that should sum up how all of these are going to look. So that was for the first 2 months. This is for the last few months of a loan, so you can see the difference. And so we're going to find, I'm kind of skipping around, we're going to do number 8 here. And so we're going to find our monthly payment, ending balance, and so on. So let's calculate my monthly payment. She borrowed $200,000. The interest rate is 5.025 over 1,200. And it was an 8-year loan, so 8 times 12 is 96 months. And so that's the formula for this next part. 1 plus 5.025 over 1,200 to the 96th power. All over, I'm just going to recopy this. Eventually, I'm not going to write the formula down because it gets a little repetitive. And then minus 1. So let's find the bottom first. I always do the bottom first. 1 plus 5.025 divided by 1,200 to the 96th. So 1.49 minus 1. And I got, oh, and I didn't even need to do all this. Ah, you guys. Part A. I didn't even have to do all this. Let me clear all this. Silly me. When you guys, that's a lot of extra work I just wrote down. If they give you this chart, my monthly payment is simply what went towards interest plus what went towards principal. And if I add those two together, I feel so silly now, I get 29. I'm looking at the wrong problem. I get 25, 34, and 37 cents. So 25, 34, and 37 cents. So something I want you to observe, your monthly payment will always remain the same. So I can fill that all the way down. When you have a fixed APR, doesn't change. So let's do part B. Part B would be the beginning balance. Remember, our ending balance is beginning balance minus what went towards principal. So I'm using beginning minus principal equals. So the beginning balance is $12,514.18. I'm subtracting $24,81.97, and that will give me part B. Now I want you to notice something. Look how small the interest is, and that's because we're in the last few months of the loan. So as you pay the most interest up front because that's when you owe the most. She's only left with $12,000 that she owes, and so that's why there's hardly any interest. So if you subtract these two, I got that my ending balance is $10,032.21. Whoops. So $10,032.21. So notice I also didn't even need to calculate that because that balance should carry over to here. So for part D, the beginning balance should be the ending balance of the last month. So $7539.85. For part G, it would be my monthly payment minus what went to principal that month. And if you subtract that out for G, I only got $21.09. So these tables are pretty easy to fill out, so don't be scared of them. All right, number 9. So if you make extra payments, it does change what is left, and it helps you pay off your home sooner. So we are going to calculate her monthly payment and then figure out how much is left. So hopefully you're getting used to seeing this formula. Her rate is 3.5 over 1,200. 10-year, so 10 times 12 is 120, so 120. Whoops, that goes on the next part. I'm making all kinds of mistakes today. So 1 plus 3.5 over 1,200 to the 120th, all over 1 plus 3.5 over 1,200 to the 120th minus 1. So start with the bottom first. Minus 1, and I get 0.41834. On the top, if you enter it all in, I got 23.16 63 cents. And if you divide, I get a monthly payment of 55.37 61 cents. So that is their monthly payment. Okay, but let's figure out how much went to interest. So here's the loan amount times the rate over 1,200. And interest is $16.33. So let me calculate this. All right, so if that's an interest, let's calculate how much went towards principal. So this is interest. So if I subtract the amount that went to interest, the amount that went to principal was $39.09 and then it said she made an extra payment. That extra payment goes straight towards principal. Any extra payments go straight to principal. So if I add that 1,200, she made $51.04 and 28 cents went towards principal. So she now owes $560,000 minus the amount that went towards principal. And so now she only owes $554,895.72. All right. Number 10, what a pain. Never, ever, ever take out an adjustable rate mortgage. It means that they can change the rate on you at any time, and it will change your loan amount. So this is saying that she took it out for $375 for 20 years. It had an introductory rate of 3.25 for the first year, so after the first 12 months, but then it rose to 4.5. So let's first complete this. Our beginning balance should be the ending balance from the last column. We have to calculate part B. So our new monthly payment is the beginning balance and 23 cents times her new rate one plus 4.5 over 1,200. And now she owes, so she's already paid a full year back. So now she owes 19 times, there's only 19 years left, so 19 times 12 gives me 228. So that's going to go here. All over the same 1 plus 4.5 over 1,200 to the 228 minus 1. So when I entered these, I got 3182.165 divided by 1.3476. I got that part B will equal a monthly payment of $23.61 and 36 cents. So $23.61 and 36 cents. So how much will go towards interest? So part C. She owes $361,463 and 23 cents times her new interest rate of 4.5. So the amount towards interest is $13.55 and 49 cents. So that's going to go here, $13.45 and 49 cents. So notice the increase, almost $400 more. I know it doesn't seem like much because of the interest rate, but that's a lot. Part D, it would be her monthly payment minus the interest to give us $1,005 and 87 cents. So that would go here, $1,005 and 87 cents. And then finally, part E is her ending balance. So part E, it's what she owed minus the principal. Her new ending balance is $360,457.36. And that pretty much covers everything that is in your homework.